Rene Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am. If nerd are cringe."
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Between Nerds Podcast. My name is Drew Philip Elias. This is Aldo Mendez. This is episode 124 of Between Nerds Podcast. Just for clarity's sake, today is December 29th, 2022. You all are listening to this in the future.
Yeah.
The far-flung future.
We're from the past.
This is past Aldo and past Drew over here. You all are either listening to this on January 11th or January 18th.
We apologize for what we've done in the next, 4 weeks, 3 weeks. But when you see us, then we'll be better, man.
Right. You won't see current Aldo and Drew until, the 25th.
All right, yeah.
A full month from now, you won't see us. So, my video and audio engineer to my left will make sure that this episode either goes up the 11th or the 18th, because next week we are also recording an episode ahead of time.
So Happy New Year's, everybody.
Happy New Year's. Well, it's probably 2 weeks past New Year's at this point by the time you're watching this, but Happy New Year's anyways. And either on the 11th or the 18th, an episode on Ponyo, Studio Ghibli's Ponyo will also be coming out. I'll leave it up to Aldo's discretion which order he wants to put them in, because I'll either be in Mexico or in Vegas.
We've talked about this scenario a couple of times before about pre-recording some episodes.
We've done it before. We have done it before. I don't think we've ever done it this far out before.
This far out. Yeah, because we're recording 3 episodes.
Yeah, we're super, super prepared. And it's because, I messed it up because, I'm going out of town for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, I messed it up.
Hey.
I have to go have fun.
Well, one of them's for work, so I'm supposed to be working.
In Vegas.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's literally for work.
It's work.
My boss approached me and was like, "Hey, Drew, you're going to the world of concrete."
Yeah, I hate it when work send me to San Diego or New York, yeah.
Hey. So, and then, but the Mexico one's for fun. Yeah. The Mexico one's for fun. That one is for fun. And
business is my pleasure. You know that stupid joke?
No.
No, when you cross, are you here for business or pleasure? My business is pleasure.
Terrible.
It's like a Mexican joke. You go get hookers.
What?
It's like the TJ thing.
We're not monetized anyways. We're talking about hookers at the beginning.
Yes.
We're doing it. We're doing it live.
I don't think hookers is a bad thing.
It's because for monetization, they do try to keep out bodily harm stuff, so assault language, and sex. Sometimes sex working can be considered harm, and it's not just that. They try to keep explicit topics out of the monetized portion, which would be the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm sure YouTube is looking at our videos. They know we try at least, even though we're
not
monetized.
125 today.
Hell yeah,
we are 1/8 of the way to being monetized.
Yes, and it's been going pretty. I don't know. We flatlined it on followers and in every social media for a while, and also
for a good
listeners.
Minute,
yeah.
Listeners have been increasing. So we don't get as significant as spikes as we used to on audio only listeners, but there is the baseline is creeping up. The average is going up.
Yeah, and then on YouTube too, it seems like this past few weeks have been pretty good.
Honestly, it made me mad. So the clip that got us our most number of followers, in one going, is the clip that I posted yesterday on December 28th. That's about Aldo talking about big, throbbing, large kaijus, right?
Yes.
But here's the thing that made me mad today when I was at work, and I'm looking at our YouTube account. Me putting subscribe in the title is what got us those subscribers, because the clip that's got us the most subscribers before that clip, I also put subscribe on the title.
And I think we talked about subscription too.
Right. And then the clip that has the most comments is the one where I put in the title, comment on this video. I thought it was all fake. I thought people being sheep on the internet was a lie. And it turns out that it's actually true. All I need to do is just write. It's dude. I don't know. I've heard it from a lot of podcast interviews or within podcast itself. Creators are always talking about the no words for YouTube. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The There's been some times when I'm watching a podcast and I'll watch probably like 20 episodes without them doing their housekeeping notes.
Yeah.
And then like after a while they'll be like, "Hey, well, we know we didn't know we needed to remind you, but remember to like like and subscribe," which like and subscribe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a thing. You have to tell people what to do.
It's a whole thing. And with that being said, at the beginning of this episode, I'm telling you all, watch Ghost in the Shell 2, Innocence. I loved it so much. It is my favorite movie we have watched for this podcast by like a long shot.
I feel like it was a crazy heavy sleeper, because to watch something as old as the first Ghost in the Shell, you know what I'm saying? It was good because the end was like, oh shit, she like transcended into being like this AI thing, Over here, it's just a continuation of that and just some Devil May Cry scenarios. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of philosophy. Like what turned me off at first. So I picked the movie because it looked like something familiar because we talked about the first Ghost in the Shell. And then like I go and I'm like just like lightly researching on it after I told you we were already gonna watch it. And like the Rotten Tomatoes rating is like 64%, which isn't like that good. You know what I mean? And I was going through some of the comments, and it's like, why is it so padded with unoriginal dialogue? Because a lot of it's quotes. A lot of it's like philosophical quotes. It's Plato, it's Descartes, it's Nietzsche, it's the Book of David. They
throw in a Confucius in there?
They throw in Confucius. They throw in like some old Buddha quotes. They throw
Plato.
in like. Yeah, and it's crazy. So, like, I can understand that argument and why somebody wouldn't like it because it's not the author's writing. But at that same point, like, oh my God, like, it is so dense and deep. It is such, like, it's such a, like, an obvious introspection. Like, the reason why I put Nier Automata in front of me is because Nier Automata is being turned into a anime next month in January. Well, the month you're listening to this. And this was like the first game I played earlier this year after beating Persona 5 Royale. And it's the same Android argument every Android movie or piece of media has, right? So, like the Deus Ex Machina movie. It's like if you make a perfect artificial intelligence to the point that it feels human emotions, is it human at that point?
Damn.
That's the question. Well, that happens a lot. That happens in the Matrix when they create AIs in the Matrix. That happens in just like any piece of media with like fake intelligence.
Well, look at Bicentennial Man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the plot to Bicentennial Man. That's the plot to like that's subplots in Cyberpunk for some of the quests. That's
but in the Bicentennial Man, I think wasn't it like, no, you're not human because you can't die yet.
Right.
You can't die, and it's like the entire fucking last 2 hours of him like trying to die.
Right. But then Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence really takes that argument, but in like a very obvious direction, but like I feel like I still hadn't seen it before. So the basis for all modern philosophy writing is it's Nietzsche, right? It's the maxim, I think, therefore I am. So, like, if I'm thinking, then I exist, right? So that should go to artificial intelligences. But then Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence also makes the argument that that Nietzsche made, which was he actively tried to work against Descartes' maxim, which was something is thinking, so something exists. He wanted to take the I out. Because the argument in Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence is like, if your intelligence, if your cyber brain is being hacked, if it's being influenced, if my modern brain is being influenced by watching media and commercials and billboards and like I'm being marketed to and like media cycles are trying to push my thinking a certain direction, is that my thought at that point? Or am I thinking on somebody else's behalf? Is somebody else thinking for me?
It's such a broad fucking question, man.
But that's what Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence is saying.
Yes.
And that's why I was sitting there watching this movie 2 days ago, and I was losing my mind. I was at, like, Ghost in the Shell is it's a broad, like, anime spectrum. I almost said movie like franchise, but that's not entirely true. The original Ghost in the Shell anime is a semi-feature-length film. It's kind of short for a feature-length film. It's like an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. Movie created in like 98, directed by Mamoru Oshii, based off of a manga created by Matsumune Shirao. So, but there's also like sub-anime works that are not Oshii productions. So they're like less philosophical, but maybe they're more true to the original form because they're more based off of the manga. So there's like a 50 episode 2-season anime, but it's not an Oshii work. So it doesn't try to go in this introspective direction that like the movies do. Because what happened in the first one?
In the first one, we have an investigation around like hackings in people, because people will be like, "Oh shit, I lost all my money to gambling, and my wife and daughter are mad at me, and I haven't seen them in so long. So my goal is to get better and do better, so I can get to see my wife and daughter again." But like, he never had a wife and daughter. He never lost all his money to gambling.
Yeah.
It was just him getting like cyber hack, brain hack.
And something about our first discussion is that like Ghost in the Shell 1 as like a movie is it's a testament to like animation at the time. You know what I mean? Like it's semi CGI for 1998, which is ridiculous to think about. And it was like groundbreaking animation, but it's so dense. Like you don't breathe for like for 80 minutes. You're just going. You're just moving
until the end. It kind of just like pumps the brake because it like closes out the movie. You know, because Matoko, she is our major, right? Our major, who is our, you know, Neon on Matrix, kind of the chosen one, kind of.
Oh, Neo?
Yeah, Neo. There you go. And she ends up being, I use the word transcended because it kind of is, but she kind of doesn't want to be, because she is all cyber,
right?
Except for her ghost, which is her soul,
right, and her brain,
and
which
brain.
Like is like her soul, yeah.
Which then at the same time, Bato, his only thing is his brain, right?
No, Bato's mostly human. Well, he has a lot of cyborg transformations, but like he's still mostly human.
Oh, okay.
Because the thing about the first Ghost in the Shell movie also is that the major Matoko, she most of her body belongs to the military.
Yeah.
Belongs to like a secret police force. So then her introspection when it comes to the Friedrich Nietzsche thing is kind of like, somebody's thinking, but I'm not thinking because I don't belong to me anymore, right? So at what point am I me?
Correct.
So when she gives herself into like the Matrix, into the internet or whatever, that's kind of like her releasing herself and like finding a true self.
Yeah.
Right, and that exact plot is one of the plots to the main to the main quest line in Cyberpunk 2077. Because Edward Silverhand's girlfriend is like the best night runner in Night City at the time in 1922. I mean, in 2022. And she gets kidnapped by like a Yakuza industrial group. And she basically like runs away into the internet so that they don't catch her subconscious. And then she's trapped there forever and then Johnny can't get her out because then he dies and gets transferred into a biochip.
Yeah, some Ultron vision shit.
Yeah, exactly. So by this movie, it's 3 years later, and we have the sergeant under the major Bato, who's still working for Section 9, and Section 9's whole gimmick is that it's the future, it's Cyberpunk 2077, but like there's a lot of like fake dolls and fake intelligences, and people have like cyber implants and cyber brains. So you know there's crimes happening. It's just stop the cyber crimes.
Like how many and there's a lot of these situations. You know, like how many fake dolls of people does a criminal organization have to put out there to have some control of the system?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And like I think the beginning of the movie is absolutely crazy because it's just exactly what you think after a while. It's sex dolls trying to protect themselves from being assaulted, and they're killing people. And that it's like I, Robot, the Will Smith movie.
Yeah, I was just thinking
where there's 3 rules, right?
Yeah.
Where like
slap the robot around.
Yeah, most of them have to do with not being able to hurt people.
Correct.
But then the plot to iRobot is that one person takes it upon himself to give the robots free will and to let them have the choice on whether or not that they can harm people to defend themselves.
Yeah.
So in iRobot, a robot like is being assaulted and like dismembered and it kills somebody.
No, that's Matrix.
Is that the Matrix?
You're thinking about any Matrix.
You know what I'm also thinking about?
But
I'm thinking
iRobot does. The guy does give him the free will, but then he asks the guy that's like, "I want to die, like kill me," and then the robot says he cannot hurt a human either. They're super close. Like you missed it by that much.
Well, before you cut me off, what I was also gonna say is that it reminds me of the game Detroit Become Human, because that's literally the plot to Detroit Become Human, where it's about like 3 separate like robot servants.
Laws.
It's about 3 robot servants being assaulted, or like the one of them, their owners are drunk and is beating on a child. So like at one point, can the robot like push past like its rules, its mainframe, and like protect the little girl? So like the majority of the Detroit Become Human game is running away from Detroit into Canada because you have this little stowaway girl that was gonna be destroyed by her father, essentially. So, like, it's a lot of these things, and all these games that I'm referencing, I feel like I like less after watching Ghost in the Shell 2. Like, I like Ghost in the Shell 2 so much, I like the rest of these games less, because they're so clearly, like, taking from it. And I don't mean, and, like, respectfully, like, I think Nier Automata is a great game. I think those quest lines in Cyberpunk are great. Detroit Become Human could have been better, whatever. But, like, I thought I loved Nier Automata, and then I realized that almost all of it is taken from Ghost in the Shell 2. I'm upset about it.
And man, coming out of 2004, that also has to like
because it came first.
Yeah, you're like, how is this 2004 and we're still riding its cock like all the way to 2022?
It's because it's that good. It really is that good, because the plot to Nier Automata, which I was in Barnes & Noble the other day, and I was going through the Nier Automata light novels. It's the exact same story, from what I could tell. It's not like I sat there and read the whole thing. But, like, I flipped through some pages, it's the exact same story. And then the trailer to Nier Automata came out, like, a week ago, and it looks like exactly the same plotline as the game again. And, like, even the music in Nier Automata sounds like it's taken from Ghost in the Shell 2. Like, Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence has, like, this... What kind of music do you call it? Hymns.
Yeah,
hymns.
Like,
I keep like little children singing hymns, and then like there's like chimes, like a music box going on in the background a lot of the time. That's the exact same music going through Nier Automata all the time. Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence has a giant CGI makeshift scary parade like halfway through the movie. Nier Automata really early on has a bunch of crazy circus robots having a parade in the middle in the middle of town.
It's funny that we've seen like parades in like super like
Artsy.
mental breakdown kind of like movies.
Like Paprika?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a weird, huh?
Paprika explained their reason for that metaphor flat out, though. It was kind of like, it's the progression of like the human psyche, like the communal psyche. If this person's trying to jump into everybody's mind space and steal their thoughts, then they're going to start to behave as a parade. They're going to start moving together. And that's why that was so scary, because like everyone's thoughts are super chaotic and all over the place.
No, but I get you. Like even watching Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence, it almost feels like them speaking so philosophically about like, am I still what I am right now, or am I just thinking this because there's somebody making me to think this? It almost checks like the tools that the Dream movie the other one in the one with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Inception. Inception.
Inception. You know how like they use those tools to make sure they're not dreaming anymore?
Yeah.
Like it seems like they're always being so like self-analytical because they just want to be thinking still.
Right.
You know?
And the two halves of Ghost in the Shell 2 feel really different too. The first half is like a buddy cop film. It reminded me of Seven a little bit.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the Zodiac. It reminded me of like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like step by step, like crazy detective on the other side of the law, like
that rookie.
Yeah, and then the rookie, the bright-eyed rookie,
Yeah.
but they belong to a special force unit, and like, but the second half is all just batshit crazy philosophy from like the second act starts, it's just insane because like even like it gives you hints up front, like in the very first act. They go they find the sex doll.
The Yakuza Massacre was pretty cool.
The Yakuza Massacre was really cool. I thought it was super dope. I thought that was super like action movie, but like it like tells you it's gonna be scary really on because they go to a police station to go see this fucked up doll that Bato put down like in the very first scene of the movie, and there is just like this crazy old lady that's like philosophizing at them, like. She's discussing like this model looks like it committed self-harm, like it ripped itself apart. Like how would it do that unless it had like a consciousness of its own, unless it had a ghost? But this is a mass-produced doll that is being used as a sex doll for politicians and like celebrities. So that's why like it's being settled out of court because the families don't want to sully the reputation of their loved ones that just died. But then she's quoting like so many works at them. She's quoting them Plato. She's quoting them like the nature of what it means to be human. They're quoting Latin at each other. And even the doctor's name, I wrote it down. Hold on. Her name is Haraway. That's significant because she only gives her last name. But Donna Haraway was a really well-known philosopher, published philosopher. She wrote a cyborg manifesto. And it's the same thing that they're discussing right now, that she's discussing in that scene. Just like, at what point is a cyborg human? If you give it the exact characteristics of a human, you give it free will, you let it be able to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes, you let it love, you let it like show empathy. At what point is it not human? Like, is that not a consciousness?
Yeah, man.
But should it not have the same, like, legal weight as a consciousness, is what it starts to ask, too.
No, correct. Yeah. They should. And I'm telling you, it's such a fucking, like, crazy question of, like... It's not a what-if question. It's, like, when is this going to happen?
Yeah.
And, like, how is it going to go down? You know what
and
I'm
people
saying?
have been asking this question since, like, the 1950s.
Dude.
Yeah.
So, man, like... Just all around that thought of like what a cyborg is, what a human is, if a human is a human. Some humans are not really that human. You know what I'm saying? So like the plot continues on following Bato after this.
Well, hold on. What I was gonna say is that's also like part of Detroit Become Human too, because like at a certain point, like you can choose to support like an android uprising, but then they try to be pacifists and they try to like not kill people. But like what you're saying, what if a person's life isn't good? Like it's like the train problem. Like you have one person on the other side of the train tracks and he's got like the cure for cancer. And you have like 8 people on the other side of the train tracks, but they're all like fucking murderers and shit. Like do you try to protect the 8 murderers because it's more lives technically? Or do you support the person that like actually can help society more? Murders. You would help the murderers?
No, I would kill the murderers.
You would kill the murderers. Yeah. But then is that not also like eugenics? Because you are putting value on somebody's life.
Well, in the very, very hypothetical that I have,
it's a made up. You'll never be in that situation.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. But if you're asking me to like what kind of person I am, put under that question, I will honestly tell you, I think I would, because it's there's a lot of good people out there, and there's a lot of bad people who pretend to be good people. You know what I'm saying? It's just a fucking crazy fucking point.
But then it's also it's like a on the nature of God thing. Like you're not God. You can't be judging people.
I'm not God.
But like I'm not even religious. I'm just saying like this made up God, like only the made up like singular God. And I'm not religious like at all. Like I'm openly a-religious. Like I belong to no religion. I have no sense of spirituality. I have no faith, nothing like that, right? But when I think of how God's always taught, It's like, who are you to judge because you're not him. You're not him without sin, right? So I think the moral argument to that dilemma, the train dilemma, is you're just not supposed to touch it and hope like for the best and hope that like you get the benefit you want, because you can't be putting value and weight on somebody's life.
I didn't know walking away was a choice.
I think that's the argument to be made, though, because there's also my bachelor's of science is biology, right? You know that there's an actual science of ecology called like altruism, and altruism is it's not only what you think about when like you take the altruistic stance, like the good stance, but there's organisms that behave in like family groups, like gophers and stuff like that, to where like if there's a predatory bird overhead, and if that gopher, if that groundhog, that small like burrowing vermin, if the males are more likely to call and alert the rest of the pack if more of their family lineage is near them, is close to them. Because part of biology isn't just to like have kids and reproduce and like to push on to the next generation. There are other ways to make sure that the next generation progresses by like contributing to society, which is like the protect the cancer specialist guy part of the argument, right?
I was thinking about that. The guy with a cure would save more lives than the 8
so
one.
He'd be more valuable in the long run, right? Yeah. But then like, what about the families of those 8 people? You are hurting 8 times as many families, like by making sure that those murderers die. What if they converted? What if they saw the error of their ways later on? You can't make that decision before, which is also the plot to the anime Psycho-Pass, because the plot to Psycho-Pass is like everyone has like a personality profile, and based on your personality profile, they can judge on the future how likely you are to commit like a violent crime. So in Psycho-Pass, you have these people with the guns that can read people's psychoanalysis, and like depending on your mood in the moment, your analysis can change on what your disposition for the future is going to look like. So if I were to get like, if I'm fine right now, they point the gun at me, it's green, it doesn't fire. But then I get angry.
More, you just want to murder.
Yeah. Like something bad happens to me, and like my psych profile changes. Like my fucking dog gets hit by like my dog gets hurt or something, and like it throws me off the edge, and all of a sudden a more violent person. They point that gun at me. Oh no, Drew's psych profile has changed, and now you're able to shoot at him.
That's wild.
So that's the plot to Psycho-Pass. So then at that same point, it's like you kind of can't make that decision. Like I get that obvious argument. Like, dude, he's got the cure for cancer. He could be assaulting children on the side though.
But I also get that I'm no one to make it. But then again, this very crazy hypothetical.
I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just saying like this is an argument people have been having for like hundreds, if not thousands of years. You know what I mean? Yes. And like this movie got me thinking so much. Like my brain didn't stop thinking like the second it started.
Well, shit. Even we put it back to like the jailing system in the United States. You know what I'm saying? It's like how much.
Why is cash bail a thing?
Also that, and why am I paying for 25 years of a multiple what does it call it? Like a crime committer. What do you multiple?
Oh, like somebody that has multiple life sentences?
Correct, or not multiple life sentences, but like, say for example, if somebody goes in, does a murder, comes back, and then goes back to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't fucking think of the word. But like, if a murderer keeps going back to jail, why should we all just pay taxes?
Well, honestly, there's an argument for that too, because I think the stat is somewhere
repeated offender. There you go.
Right, but then the argument against the death penalty that I've heard that makes the most sense to me. I'm not saying I'm one way or the other on it, but like the argument I've heard on the against side that made sense to me was like, I hear that argument too. Like I think the resource argument is something to be said, but like that 8% of people that have been put to death in the United States under law, 8% of them have been shown to be innocent later on.
Oh yeah,
that's entirely too high. Anything more than 0 is too high when you are putting somebody to death. Like that's the argument against the death penalty, is that there's evidence that can come out later on, because like our system of law, which is the correct system, is like you are deemed guilty by a jury of your peers, right? But, like, why do we hire lawyers and expensive legal teams? And, like, why the fuck did O.J. Simpson get off? Because, like, the jury is meant to be swayable. In a court of law, there is no fact. There is evidence to point you towards a conclusion that you hope you can point the jury in that same direction.
And 8 different people are going to...
Right. Oh, however many it is. But then, like they can be swayed. They can be lied to. Like, O.J. Simpson totally did it. But, like, his lawyers were able to make the argument in court, a really good argument. Like, there's whole books written about that court case.
That made these people go like,
yeah, maybe he didn't do it.
Yeah.
And the point of, like, being innocent until proven guilty is because someone's life is, like, so valuable. Like, you can't get that back. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, the level of evidence you need for stuff like that is so high. So I'm not saying we're on one side or the other here, but, like, these are all questions I was saying. So, like, the second that Haraway scene happens, and, like, the character that the audience is supposed to be thinking of is Togusa, yeah. Togusa, like, he's like the wide-eyed
the rookie,
yeah. Right? So as an audience, like, Holloway's expressing all this, like, cyborg philosophical nonsense at him, and he's just like, what is she saying? Like, what is happening right now? And me, I'm sitting there like, yeah, for real, bro. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Because he's like, doesn't have any cyborg parts.
Just the brain.
Yeah, just the brain.
Just the brain implant, yeah. Everyone's got, like, a cyber brain.
Yeah, it's wild. But then, like, right after that, Bato and Togusa are supposed to conduct like a very under the table investigation onto, like, the Yakuza and why are these dolls being, like, sex trafficked.
Right.
He goes, this is where the Yakuza massacre happens,
it's not even then. They find, like, they find out the manufacturer is this manufacturing group named I wrote it down. I already forgot it. They're named you said it earlier. Now I can't forget it. Locus Solid.
Oh yeah, Locus Solus.
Locus Solid was also
Solus
is also a French science fiction novel from 1914 about, like, a deranged inventor, like, just walking people through his house and showing them his fucked up inventions. So Holloway tells them that this manufacturing company named Locus Solus made these dolls, and that they're widely popular, and they're giving away them for free because they're essentially demo dolls. They find, like, this head engineer or head executive for Locus Solus dead, like, massacred on, like, a rented, like, boat hotel Airbnb thing. So then, like, still in the vein of, like, being a buddy cop detective movie in the beginning, they show up, they find an identification card for a child inside of one of the books. And that's what, like, kind of like the tail end of the second act a little bit. Because, like, Bato goes back to his apartment. He just lives with his dog, and like he's really sad bachelor. You know, like they show that archetype all the time, like really dirty, like single old detective that just like lives by himself with his dog.
Yeah, the Batman detective kind of thing. Yeah, dude, I can't believe I forgot. Like all of the like first act.
The first act.
The first act. Yeah. You're right. And shit, am I missing anything from the first act?
Well, that's what leads them to the Yakuza.
So the Yakuza...
because, like, the way he was killed, they were able to determine that the mods, a la Cyberpunk 2077, were, like, military-grade mods that only this one Yakuza group in the area has.
Anyways, he goes in there gun blasting, which is really cool. And I'm not noticing so much of, like, the 3D modeling yet. Well, I notice it, but, like, not... just yet, because this is very animated.
Well, I think the conversation they have before even leaving the police station is super important, because he sees him like putting like a whole ass like fully automatic rifle into his trunk.
I thought we were just gonna talk. Like,
Togusa sees Bato putting it into his trunk. He's just like, we're just gonna go talk to the Yakuza. Yeah, bro, we're just gonna go talk to the Yakuza. What are you talking about? Why are you packing that gun? Because I'm just gonna go talk to the Yakuza. What do you mean? Like,
super cannon.
It's huge. It's huge. Like, it's got like a full like clip on it. Yeah, full like it's a military grade weapon. You know what I mean? So that's when he like busts into the Yakuza lair and just like blasting everybody.
I thought we were just gonna talk. What do you mean? I did try to talk.
I'm talking to them.
But he's so like he's in the these motherfuckers are taking advantage of like little girls kind of mentality.
His joke is also like, this is the way the Yakuza talk.
Yeah, that's right. And anyways, big like super crazy like gun scene, which is good because it feels like, god damn it, it just feels like a cop movie, a good cop movie.
Yeah,
you know,
the first half of the movie feels like a cyberpunk cop movie.
Correct. And then after this, you know, you go to the back to the boss. The boss is like, "What did I say? You guys were supposed to go talk to them." It's like, that wasn't talking. You just blasted like a whole squadron or fucking Yakuza people.
Yeah, a whole building of Yakuza.
Yeah. And they're gonna be pissed at you. It's like, hey, am I supposed to put you back in the field or not?
What I think is super funny about like that first room that he's blasting people though is because like it reminded me of Cyberpunk 2077 again, where like you fight with cyberware, right? Like I could put a virus into somebody's brain and fuck up like their cyber brain or whatever. So Bato makes like a computer image of himself and like they think they're still shooting at him, but it's like his hologram or something. He's just like behind them and just mowing them down
like a dummy. Yeah.
And again, like it's kind of like that preludes to something that happens to Bato later on, because it's like now that you've established that you can really fuck with people's cyber brains that easily, like you're not connected to a network, you're not wired into something.
Like, what's going on?
You're just in the same room as people, and you're looking at them, and then you're just able to hack their cyberware.
And then a lot of talks about like, I have a guardian angel.
Yeah,
I have a guardian angel.
Well, the first time he mentions that is later on inside of the grocery store.
Correct. Yeah. But and this is where I was heading, because after the boss and
you're gonna skip the guy with the scissors on his arm.
Oh shit! Go ahead. Yes. Yeah, the lobster boy.
So in that Yakuza building,
you're right,
they find the guy with the mod that had killed the locust, whatever the fuck, locust
Solus.
Locust Solus executive, and like he's crazy, like fully cybernetic, like half of his face is gone, his entire right arm is just this giant crab arm that turns into both like scissor sword pincers, but also like this giant human hand. So like Bato and Tokusa are walking up the stairs, and Tokusa's life flashes before his eyes because like 2 grenades get thrown down the stairs, and Bato just like throws them to the side, and that's immediately after Tokusa had said like, no, you're too big for me to cover, so I'll get the front and you get my back. Yeah. Because like Bato's like off the shits, off the deep end. Like he's one of those crazy cops in these buddy cop movies, but Tokusa's still like, I can keep him on the straight and narrow. Like that's my partner.
Almost as he was waiting for the grenades to get there.
Yeah. And then like the second the grenades drop down, Bato's just like, nope, and just like pulls him down and throws him down.
And like the clothes, like, because this is animated still. I don't believe there's a lot of 3D modeling in the fight. You know, but like the animation of the close counter combat between like the lobster boy and Bato, it's crazy because like the first hit that the lobster guy like aims at him misses. Bato like flips over him, grabs his arm and rips it off.
That's in semi CGI.
Semi CGI.
Did you notice it? It's called like cell. It's called 2D cell shaded CGI. So the whole movie is though.
Oh shit! Okay.
So that means like most of it was made with a CGI base, and then they went over it with 2D animation. Yeah, with 2D cells afterwards. So that's why it looks like that, and that's why it looks so good for a movie that came out in 2004.
Yeah, it looks fucking crazy.
And like I think it really, really holds up. And like that fight's insane.
Right.
And like Bato straight up rips this guy's crab arm off. Like the flip Aldo's talking about, he flips over him, grabs his arm, rips it off. Like the connections, like from his physical like flesh to like his robot flesh, just rips it off, and then he like tries like slamming Bato, like just punching the ground like where he's at, but Bato's too smart and he like makes him miss, and then he punches a hole down into the ground and knocks himself out.
Yeah, and then he's on his knees, and that's why it's important, because then we see Bato like just plugging in the joystick in the back of like Lobster Boy's neck, and he's like, click, and then he even like pulls it out like with like a wire connection, like he's like,
yeah, it looks like a gun thermometer.
Yeah, and then like the Lobster Boy is just like moving, and we're like, oh shit, brain hacking. You know?
And at that same point, it's significant because that's when Tokusa starts already having that conversation with himself about what's real and what's fake. Because he's on the stairs, still freaking out. He missed that whole fight. And he's just like, oh my god, I saw my life flash before my eyes. I saw the wife. I saw the faces of my wife and my child. And Bato's just like, that wasn't your life flashing before your eyes. Tokusa's like, what was that? And he's like, it was the angel of death. And like again, it's a metaphor, it's cryptic language, like purposely, but like he's kind of telling him like what's real, what's fake. Can you really differentiate between the two right now? Because if you're going to be emotional and you're just seeing like the faces of your family everywhere you go, then you might be a detriment to me right now. I need you in the here and now. Yeah. I can't have you like doubting what's significant and what's not.
Spacing the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then, okay, now, by the time the boss like tells him what the fuck is your problem, that you're gonna have a lot of Yakuza back to you, I just want to talk about the animation here too. God damn, like the entire scene of him just walking into a convenience store right after like being yelled at by his boss,
getting slapped on the wrist.
You know, yeah. Because what are you gonna do with Bato? He's like fucking 7'8".
He's mostly cyborg.
Yeah, and as he's walking to the, I don't know if you watched. What is it? Constantine.
Yeah.
With Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
There's a scene on a convenience store too, and it reminded me so much about it because as he's walking, he also sees someone pass by him, but it's not really there when he turns around. Mm-hmm. So he's already being suspicious about the entire situation inside like the convenience store, and he starts scanning everybody, and he's churning, and all this 3D modeling like on the background looks insane.
Oh yeah. It in like something we haven't even mentioned yet, like the way like when they show from a first person perspective what Bato with his cybernetic eyes looks like, it's crazy. Like that's what the opening scene is when like he's hunting the little demon sex doll that just killed 3 people. Like you just see it scanning and zooming in, and like it seems like the coolest video game I could ever play. Like it does feel like it's like scanning for like whose head that is, whose corpse that is. And like Bato, you know, he's a cop and like he's kind of crazy and on the edge anyway. So like the second he enters the convenience store, he's scanning everybody. Who's the sussy one? And like us as an audience, we're being led to believe like, holy shit, like something's about to go down. Like somebody's after him. Because you start hearing sounds. The music slows down. Like it's like there's no hymns in this one, but like there's like this soft little it's a chime from like a little music box, you know what I mean? But it starts slowing down and you're just like, oh fuck. And he's just there to grab dog food because his dog only likes this one specific brand of dog food. Because he has a real dog. Because he has a real dog, which is like super rare.
Yeah, and expensive.
Yeah. So then like he grabs the 2 dog foods and like the person behind him starts moving and
he freaks out.
Well, immediately before that, a child in a hoodie facing the other direction whispers like what is she whisper? She whispers something like, "Hey, watch your back" or something. Or she says things are not as they appear or something like that. Yeah. She starts like playing doubts on his perspective right then. And that's his angel. That's like his guardian angel over his shoulder that he starts talking about. So the music picks back up, like it turns full-time speed all of a sudden, and he starts like rushing and dashing, but like
he's being shot twice.
You start seeing like gunshots just kind of appearing at him. You hear like 2 gunshots, bam, bam, and then like on his right side from the back, the camera's behind his back right now because he's running out of the aisle. Yeah, with his gun in his hand, you see the blood seeping through the shirt, so you're not entirely sure what's going on right here. And then you just see like the other people in the grocery store start ducking and hiding, so they're not suspects. But then he immediately runs to like the store clerk who's pulling a shotgun out from underneath the counter because he's defending his store. So it's him with the gun to the store clerk or the bodega owner's fucking face. But then again, the little thermometer gun, the little cyberbrain gun thing, like a detective for Section 9 had been tailing him that whole time and just like got him in the back with the cyberbrain because he knew he was probably going to freak out. Yeah. So the director of Section 9 had a tail on him for a while because they figured that either
get to him.
either Bato was going to be a target, or they were starting to think maybe Bato was losing it anyways, because he was starting to act so erratic. But he was just there was nothing wrong with him. He was just being erratic.
Yeah, and he stopped him like right before he like pulled the trigger on this poor bodega man.
Yeah. So like the scene is like the bodega owner with a shotgun in his hand, with Bato's gun to his forehead, Bato's arm outreached, but then the tail's arm outreached with the cyberbrain gun in front of him in the back of Bato's neck.
And then it also feels like the single shot kind of thing, because everything is emotional, like the people ducking and like running and hiding like in other aisles, and then like the glass of the fridge is like shattering and like falling down at the same time.
Yep.
And like some dude like booking it through the door and like seeing like the bodega man pulling it. Like it looks crazy.
Yeah.
It looks crazy.
But then like it takes like a full like 5 minutes to explain what actually happened, or the movie does, because like it just cuts to like him waking up in the hospital. And like he's getting a new arm. He's like, so they're explaining to Bato what had just happened. They're like, listen, the Yakuza are pissed that you broke into their hideout, so they probably hired somebody to hack you, and you went crazy inside of a bodega store, shot yourself twice in the arm, and then almost killed the bodega clerk.
Yeah, he's like, whoa.
That doesn't sound like
crazy.
Me. Yeah, he says I'm crazy. I've lost it, huh?
Yeah, and it is such a cool in world building kind of like in scene world building too, like how they talk about all this, because as soon as I saw this, I was like, "Oh, this is why Drew likes it a lot. Not only because of the like super philosophical things, but like just like the how do you say it? When you're
vulnerability.
Yeah, how do you say it? Vulnerability.
There you go.
Of like being put in these situations. Because once they tell him all that, they tell him like stupid is like, didn't you think that was gonna happen? It's like, we told you to switch to the wet food for your dog. My dog likes the dry food, and then
it's all he eats, bro. What do you want from me?
Yeah, and then,
which like same like
yeah, definitely.
It's super sad, because like not only like they show Bato that he's back in reality by showing his dog. Because while he was under, they went to his apartment, saw how fucking shitty he's living. Like, it's dirty, beer cans everywhere, his dog shitting everywhere, and like he's not cleaning up after the dog food because he's buying like the specialized dog food or whatever. The dog's taking like 8 different pills because it's a basset hound, and they got short legs, and then he's probably got arthritis, poor thing. And like, it's not until he jumps on his lap he's like, oh, okay, like I'm chilling. What happened, guys? Like it again, it's like Inception like that, because it's like, at what level is shit real at that point? And that's also a plot line in Cyberpunk a little bit, where there's a quest line where the next mayor of Night City is having his memories altered by like a secret government agency that's living inside of a secret wall in his room, in his apartment, in his penthouse. So there's like 3 or 4 people running night shifts while the mayor and his wife are asleep, or he's the candidate to be mayor, but he's gonna win. And in the middle of the night, they're sneaking in there and like hacking their memories, and like showing they're influencing them in their sleep, so that he can like enact certain policies, or he can like focus on other crimes more than some other ones. And then that quest line starts because his wife remembers a dream, or had a nightmare, or it might have actually happened, that she was walking around the loft in the middle of the night and somebody was there. She ran after them and he disappeared behind a wall. We come in, find the secret wall, find the secret room. The quest line goes on. It turns out that it's actually like a world government conspiracy to like control like certain mayors of like influential cities in the United States. But he's going to be a good mayor because he's going to be influenced to like enact like progressive policies to like help the people and like stop crime and stuff like that. But like, again, like, I think therefore I am, like, is it Is he thinking for himself? Like, is he a conscious human person making informed decisions on his own accord? Or is he very clearly, like, being told to do something by an outside influence? And, oh my God, it's just, there's levels to this shit.
No, yeah, and as we're cutting from like Act 2 to Act 3, like, it turns to another fucking movie again.
Yeah.
You know, like, if the first movie was like a super good cop movie, the second one turns into cyberpunk, or like all of this media that we've seen, like,
Yeah.
Like, whatever, iRobot or whatnot. But then over here, it's just...
Well, there was one more point I had about that last... I'm sorry. I know I'm rambling. I keep getting stuck on the philosophy. It's because I love thinking
Go
like
ahead,
this.
go ahead,
Like,
go
the philosophy is why I liked it more than anything. It's not even the cyberpunk stuff. It's just like... I feel like Ghost in the Shell 2 really brings together, like, all these pieces of media that, like, I've taken in, liked on the perimeter, but, like, this is, like, the connecting piece. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I feel like it's so significant. It's because... we're going to talk about sports. Like, so, Tua Tagovailoa of the Miami Dolphins had his third unofficial concussion this season. Second official concussion. Third unofficial one.
Jesus.
So, I'm watching my favorite, like, sports talk show. It's called The Herd with Colin Cowherd. And he brings on somebody that he used to, like, bring on his original radio show, and somebody he used to, like, apprentice that now is, like, bigger at Fox Sports than him. But, like, he still, like, throws him a bone, and we'll do, like, an interview, and they'll do, like, a little 10-minute spiel or whatever. And they're talking about Tua. So Tua, have you followed any of the Dolphins games this year?
I saw one this past Christmas Eve.
Okay. Have you seen any of Tua's concussions, like, on Twitter or anything?
No, I haven't seen that.
So, like, early in the season, like, first third of the season, he had an unofficial concussion. Yeah. Like, he fell down, and, like, his teammates are holding him up. Like he seems drunk almost.
Yeah. I actually have the NFL muted on Twitter.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Like, the only sports things that I get is, like, you, Roby, CJ...
replying to something.
And shit like that.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I could totally see you doing that, too.
Yeah.
So anyways, Tua's, like, died, like, on the field 3
Holy
times.
shit.
So, like, not literally, but, like, might as well have.
Yeah.
So, I have a point to this. Okay. So,
And,
like...
concussions are bad already, and you don't want to have them that close either.
And he's very injury prone. Because, like, Tua's, like, 5'10", 5'11", which is, like, he's my size. You know what I mean? Well, probably a little bit more fit, a little bit. You know what I mean? Because he's in the NFL. But, so he's kind of small for the NFL. And he's hurt his hand. He's hurt his back. He's hurt his ribs. And, like, now he seemed to be concussion prone. But, like, this hit happens. He falls. And, like, he stands up. And, his teammates, like, grabbing him. Like whole ass grabbing his arm and, like, standing him up. And you see them having a conversation, like, good, like, I'm good, put me back in. They win that game. He throws like 3 touchdowns after that concussion. But then everyone's fucking pissed that week. They were like, why the fuck did he play? Why the living, like, there's supposed to be a third party non-NFL.
He got a concussion the game, the Christmas game?
Probably.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. The Christmas Day.
Oh, really?
The Christmas Day.
I saw
the Christmas
that
Day game. So that's his third concussion.
Holy
so then that first concussion of the year, that's on a Sunday, right? The Miami Dolphins are on Thursday Night Football in a primetime slot. He played because the third party, like, neuro consultant that was on the sidelines never said he had a concussion. So he was not confirmed to have a concussion that game, even though he couldn't stand up. So that's what I mean about unofficial concussions. He has his first official concussion 4 days later on Thursday Night Football. He again goes to the ground, gets hit on the head, and he's immediately ejected from the game, and he's sent to the tent, and, like, they start doing, like, neuro tests on him. This past week, on, December 25th, he gets tackled around the ankles. He falls down to the ground hard and hits his head on the concrete. That Monday, they make him ineligible to play because he has slurred speech. He's having trouble moving. So I'm watching The Herd with Colin Cowherd, and he has his guest on. And Colin's like, he can't play the rest of the year, right? Like, this isn't up for debate. Like, why? What? This isn't, like, any good person says he can't play, right? His guest made the argument. He's like, look, listen, I understand that this guy's health is important, but, like, you also have to understand that this is his second, third year in the league. He's never proven himself. He's not signed to a lucrative major deal yet. He's gone his whole life of like 24 years trying to work up to this moment.
If he wants to play.
So he's like, if he's an adult and can make the adult decision, like, do you let him play? But that's the argument I'm making about the injured cyberware. Tua Tagovailoa now has injured cyberware because his fucking brain's broken. Is Tua Tagovailoa even, like, capable of making an informed adult decision on his own anymore?
To be a part of the police.
Being part of the MMA, gonna join the UFC, but that's the argument I'm making. Like, at what point are Tua's decisions this week, especially because he's in concussion protocol, like, are they his decisions at this point? Like, would fully healthy, not injured brainstem Tua Tagovailoa make these decisions? We don't know that anymore. At that point, it turns into the debate that we've been having, like, for this entire movie so far.
Yeah.
And like, I thought that was significant too, because I was thinking about Tua. I thought about that interview, and I was like, that's right though. Like, honestly, I wouldn't let him play. I honestly think, like, you have to save him from himself at that point. I think, and like, what's worse is that, like, he's young, like, he's not married or nothing. Like, he can't be his wife being like, dude, like, we should maybe retire and try to make a life out of this. That would have to be like his mom or his dad being like, son, listen, I know you busted your ass your whole life for this.
Over here, son.
Yeah, look at me.
Here.
Look at me.
Yeah.
But, like, it's sad. It's really, really sad. So now that's Bato now. Bato's now injured goods. Bato's damaged goods now.
And I like watching sports. I know what's going on in football. I know what's going on in basketball. I like it, but, like, football is one of the things that I can't. I don't know. I just don't like it because I'm not a fan, but also, like, to hear all these stories, a lot of these stories, it's just fucking crazy. It's just fucking crazy.
That's why a lot of people don't watch contact sports like MMA or professional boxing either.
And then MMA, like, Dana White just having a fucking clutch on all these fighters, and then need, like, third, second jobs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that is ridiculous, man.
What, like, the richest sports owner in the world?
Yeah, bro. Like,
the most money ever made off of one sport?
God damn. I like seeing the highlights, though.
Yeah, but see, that's what I mean. Maybe you shouldn't like those highlights, especially. And it's always like the ones of people getting knocked out that go, like, viral and stuff, or people getting, like, their fucking, like, arm broken or something like that.
Broken,
yeah, or their legs broken.
And then that's a good segue to, like, what happens here in this third act.
No, it's not a real 3-act system.
It's not really.
Maybe that's my fault, because I think I started talking about it in acts, but, like, there's, like, a first half and a second half kind of thing.
It's because, well, again, to your point, that this turns into a lot of movies. Like, here we walk into, like, I don't know, a Eclipse fucking episode on Berserk kind of thing into a mansion where Kim is.
Well, before that, they go into, like, this remote region in the north that's super industrialized, but, like, there's ginormous slums everywhere.
Well, they're looking for the for the Lotus Solis tower, right?
Yeah, they're trying to find the manufacturer, and they know they're in this region somewhere. So, like, even on the helicopter, it's Bato and Hotosa, like, they're literally quoting the Book of David to each other and be like, haha, why are you quoting the Book of David to me? I thought you followed you're quoting me the Old Testament. I thought you followed the New Testament. Huh? Like, they're really having this highbrow conversation in the air, but then, like, they land on the ground, and it seems like the slums of, like, Hong Kong or something like that. Like, it's, like, super high, old Chinese cities, but covered in iron, but it also looks like it's painted gold, but, like, we're on the slums, so, like, it looks shittier and dingier, and it's not being kept up with as well. And, like, the second they land, it's just like this giant CGI parade happening. It's scary as fuck. Like, the CGI being from 2004 made it better to watch because the scene looks like it's supposed to be scary, and the CGI being dated and, like, so just blatantly wrong in my brain makes it a scarier scene to watch. So I'm watching it, I'm just like, this is insane. Like, this is crazy, right? Like, I'm losing it. But then that reminds me of an exact scene of, like, the first place you go in Nier Automata. Where, like, the plot to Nier Automata, which seems like it's going to be the plot to the anime, is that you play as the android 2B. You are going to go down to Earth to defeat robots so that the humans that live on the moon can immigrate back to Earth and repopulate the globe, right? But the Earth has been desolate for like 300 years, several generations and populations later, because they created robots. They created an AI system that kind of took over the planet on their own.
Yeah.
So, but like when you as the android you're a humanoid android. Like 2B's the one that they loot all the time, and when you land, there's dialogue from the humans on the ground being like, "Hi, it's nice to have an android here. Hi, like I'm really glad you're not human. People keep dying over there. Go out there, Miss Android. Like if your life if you die, it doesn't matter." The very first scene in the game looks like it's going to be the first episode of the anime. Is a suicide pact between 2B and her assistant android 9S, where they have like their consciousnesses uploaded onto a black box, and when two black boxes meet, it creates like a nuclear blast. So they destroy like a robot factory on the ground that's creating like weapons. They're creating mechas.
Yeah.
They're creating robot kaijus.
Yeah.
And they blow themselves up in the very first act of the game. But because their consciousnesses and their memories were uploaded onto the space base, they just upload their consciousness into new bodies and new forms, even though they just cried over each other dying on the ground level. So then they felt emotion before dying, but they don't remember those emotions because it's like a save file. It's like your most recent autosave. So you miss that 10 minutes of gameplay, but your autosave was like when you first entered the dungeon, right?
Correct. Yes.
So they don't remember this connection with each other. So was that connection real? Did it happen? If a tree falls and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Yeah, and then it's like the whole your movie with Jim Carrey.
Oh, it's like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Because I think that's significant too. Because like the plot to Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is like, even if you delete somebody from your memory, if you love them, like if your genetic predisposition is to love that person, like that is the perfect person for you, even if you two are toxic together, like she drinks too much, whatever, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna end up together anyways. They fall in love anyways. And even if people try to interject their own narrative onto somebody else's memories, at a certain level, people know who they are, right? That's the argument in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. You can try to influence somebody that's a blank slate as much as you want, but at a certain level, they're gonna be drawn to like who they really want, not who you want them to want. It's like being a parent, right?
Yeah.
So, in Nier Automata, I wanted to bring it back to the circus. So you're an android. You're an android. You land on Earth. You're the reincarnated one. You're not the original one that nuked herself. So the humans send you out there and they're like, go defeat a bunch of robots. There's a bunch of just mindless fucking stupid robots out there. Just go beat them up. And so you go kill hundreds of robots, and everyone's like, yeah, they're just robots. They're not real people. They don't have a culture. They don't have feelings. They don't have emotions. So then you walk into an abandoned amusement park, and they're having a parade and singing, and they're dressed up, and they're excited for the party. Like it's Robot Mardi Gras in this bitch. So then you as the android have to be like, I thought they were people. That's culture. I am watching culture happen, but that's not what I was told, right? So I've just killed like hundreds of people with consciousnesses, right? Am I a murderer, even if they're artificial life? But if that artificial life was created by other artificial life, should you feel bad at all because they were created in the image of like an actual human being? Is it speciesist to call that person an actual human being?
Yeah, man. And
I love this movie so much. Like, and that's the parade. That's what that parade immediately made me think of. Because, like, they land and they're like, look, it's a desolate fucking slum. No one's going to give a shit. But the second you land, it's culture. It's actual people trying to live their lives and trying to celebrate something.
And it's probably my fault that I didn't, like, ingest it the same way as you. Because I was watching at home. You know, like I have baby, but I'm watching, and I see all the, you know, the Book of David talks, like all this philosopher like quotes and stuff like that, and I see it, and I'm like, oh yes, I get it. It's like the tone of the movie.
Yeah.
Like I get it, but like I'm still watching, and it became more visual to me.
Yeah.
Than what they were saying.
Right.
But it does have a connection to what the plot of the movie is, but I guess it was me dismissing it and being like, yeah, I get it. Like, I
get it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I get it. I've done that before too. Like I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but that's happened to me before. Like we've had the opposite thing. Like you've had to like break something down for me. Like no, dude, you missed what he said. Like
no, yeah, absolutely, because it is like the plot of the movie, like all these deep conversations, all these deep double meanings of stuff. It's really cool when I'm hearing you talk about it.
And we say that all the time. The discussion's like half the fun of watching this shit.
Yeah.
Like, I guess we can do our housekeeping notes now.
Yeah.
Like before we forget again. So, last time we, at the beginning of this
Nerd, the housekeeping.
not the housekeeping notes. We need a whole new graphic just for housekeeping notes.
Yes.
Housekeeping
notes.
Yeah, exactly. we had previously said that we were gonna take like all previous recommendations into effect, and last episode I think y'all might have listened to this like 3-4 weeks ago.
Correct.
So Propagander 83 in our comment section for
next.
For the what if it's next. So like episode 126 is going to be off this recommendation.
Yes.
And it's basically he asked us to watch a slice of life called Hitori Bochi. So we're giving ourselves 4 weeks from now, which is December 29th, but when you're listening to it, it's well into January.
And it's probably the next episode.
It's probably the very next episode being published.
Yeah, I'm dumb because I've been like putting in on the file episode 124.
It's not 124.
I need to date it. I need to go back and date it instead. Yeah.
Oh, that's so. Oh, we said 124. We introduced it as 124.
We did.
Oh
no.
We're dumb. We're dumb. We're so.
We're gonna do that.
Drew and Alder from the past are dumb.
Yeah.
But you're watching this mistake being realized in like real time. That's so funny.
Better.
So, anyways, we're watching Hitori Bochi. If you guys have any other recommendations, jump in any of our comment sections. That's YouTube, Instagram. Reply to us on Twitter. Jump in any of our DMs or email us at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com. You guys can leave a 5-star written review, positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, and if you email us at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com, letting us know that review was you, we'll enter you into our monthly giveaway, which by the time you're listening to this, like it's almost over. There's almost one more week, so get on that, enter the giveaway, and you can also enter the giveaway by being a subscriber on YouTube and leaving a comment on anything, and then you're automatically like entered. So like Hitori Bochi, Propagander 83 is like already entered into the December giveaway, which I'm going to announce next week, which is going to be the actual episode 124.
No, next episode. Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So you'll have already known who the winner is by then, but I don't know it yet because that's me in the future.
But this episode is now?
Am I a living machine? Am I an AI? What's reality?
That just fucked me up, too. I was just thinking about it. I'm like, God, I am a fucking droid. Just putting out numbers I don't know about.
There's also like a philosophical argument outside of being a robot that has to do with that, too. And it has to do with an actual religion. It has to do with Buddhism. Mm-hmm. So the point of Buddhism is to reach...
enlightenment.
It's to reach enlightenment to get to nirvana, right?
Correct.
And nirvana it's not heaven as in the Christian faith. It's the perfect existence. Like it's what everything's supposed to be. Because the Buddha's argument was like you got to meditate into yourself and respect nature, respect your fellow man, respect yourself more than all, so that you can really understand what's happening around you. Because these colors me and Aldo see right now.
Heaven and hell are here right now, and it's when you.
Well, it's not just that. The Buddha didn't believe in heaven or hell, but like the colors me and you see these lights, this TV, our monitors, they're like a lie. That's how our brain is interpreting the very specific cone placements in our eyeballs, and that's how we're interpreting those same signals. The people watching us and listening to us are interpreting a different machine's interpretation of what we are saying.
Yes, sir.
So they are like 3 steps removed from the
us.
actual reality. Because we're already 1 step removed from reality. So the Buddha's argument was like, to reach enlightenment, just quit all the bullshit. Like, get out. His argument was to be Neo. Bust out of the matrix, get out of that false reality that you live yourself in that's worrying about bills and having anxieties about literally nothing that are just social constructs, and just live and be good and reach full enlightenment so that you can go to nirvana and you can see reality as it actually is. which is also what Ghost in the Shell 2 is about. Crazy.
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And like that's like the halfway point of the movie. Like I am literally the parade's like literally the halfway point of the movie.
Yes, it is.
Well, the very next scene is the one Aldo's talking about. So they just beat the shit out of some like homeless guy in like downtown Hong Kong. Yeah. It's like, who's Kim? It's like a really common name. What do you mean? Be specific. Which Kim? You know which fucking Kim I'm asking about, bitch. Like, and they're just beating the shit out of some guy in a different country that they don't even have jurisdiction in.
Yeah,
because bad cops.
Because
bad cops.
Yeah, and Togusa is being what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be like almost the voice of reason.
He is the audience's voice.
Yeah. And
so if you as an audience is like, I'm not sure what's going on. Is this really what we should be doing? Tokusa will say that out loud, being like, Bato,
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but this is wrong, right? Like I'm not the one tripping here.
Yeah. And I mean, when we get to Kim, who is a warlord cyber,
he's like an ex-vet that became like a net runner in Cyberpunk, right?
Correct.
But like even before they enter the mansion, hold on.
Yes.
Outside of his mansion, he lives on.
We're taking our jersey.
I'm burning up in here. I'm wearing a shirt about an IPA.
Nice.
Wicked Felicia IPA by El Paso Brewing Company.
We could. This whole thing could be yours,
bro. El Paso Brewing Company, hit me up. Oh my god. Yeah. El Paso Brewing Company, please.
Yeah, we will say that we enjoy your beer, but we won't enjoy it in an episode.
Just send me 12 Wicked Felicias. I'll talk about it nonstop. I'll be like that TikTok account that's like, "Hey guys, this is Drew here. Today we're gonna try Coors Light," and he just finishes a 30.
Like, did you see that guy that died?
What,
dude?
Like alcohol poisoning?
A similar account of a guy obviously into alcoholic behavior on Twitter for clout. He was on live on TikTok, had a heart attack after chugging 2 Four Locos, bro.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was telling Karen the other day that when I was in college, we used to do Edward Four Loco hands.
Oh, I like the 40 hands. Regular 40 hands.
But Four Loco hands?
Yeah, Four Loco hands stupid.
It's because we were broke, bro. Yeah. Like, if you want to get, like, a real hard buzz off, like, $6, like, it's Four Locos. You know what I mean? Like, we used to play Four Loco Pong to pregame the movies.
And then, like, that was the pre-09 Four Loco.
No, when I was in college, that was...
Oh, no, that was high school.
Yeah, that was high school, yeah. When I was in college, I'm talking, like, 12, 13.
Right. Damn.
And
Still.
So they're outside of Kim's mansion.
Yeah.
It's scary as fuck. Like so I'm describing downtown Hong Kong, but now it's like a Western style 3-story mansion on top of, in front of a forest, in front of a giant reflective lake that has one like 2 by 100 little tile bridge going to it. But before that is a giant robot metal leg that looks like it would belong to like a giant sized kaiju, and on it is another Latin phrase that essentially means, I can't remember the exact phrase.
Emmet.
That one wasn't Emmet.
No,
that's inside of the mansion.
Inside the mansion. That's right.
But like on the leg, it says something like "man learned from machine," or like "machine can become man," or something like that. Again, like Latin about what this whole movie's about. They enter the mansion, and the second they enter the mansion, on the ground, they see a doll that looked like the sex dolls that they've been hunting this whole time. And on the ground, it says Amoth.
Amoth.
Amoth. AEMAETH. It's Amoth. Okay. What's Amoth? I don't know. It's Latin. It's a dead language. We might both be right. Who knows?
Yeah. Something comes out.
So then the scene is Bato walking around the mansion. He sees a lot of things that have you guessing and interpreting what life would be. So if you see a perfect simulation of doves flying in a garden, right? But those doves are just holograms, but they've been uploaded with like real AIs, and they function like a real bird when like you touch them and try to swat at them. Like, is that life? More questions. Like you see little dolls around the house that are serving you drinks, but like they respond to actions, but like it doesn't seem like they feel. That's not life, right? But they're modeled to be more human like.
Did you hear about this museum that opened in the Amazon? Obviously in the dead part of the Amazon. but it's a museum in memory of how the Amazon used to look like. But then The Simpsons, like 20 years ago, had an episode when they showed like holographic tree in memory of real tree.
That makes me sad.
Yeah.
Like, I was listening to an NPR story about like the politics of Brazil the other day, because what's his face just lost his election, like the last cycle, right? Maduro? No,
Maduro?
Is that Maduro? Maduro. Okay, so he lost. He was a socialist conservative, but a lot of his support was coming from the people that lived in the Amazon. They liked that he was tearing down the rainforest, because that meant that they could use the land that they technically owned, but that the government and like the world tells them that they can't pasteurize because, like we need oxygen, so we need trees, so that they can turn it into farmland. So most of his support comes out of that region because they want to tear down the rainforest. But these are rural people. These are people that you would normally associate, like they live in the rainforest. They would want to protect the rainforest, right?
Yeah.
No, they want to get rid of it so that they can plant fucking beans.
Yeah. What the fuck is all these trees?
They want to plant sugarcane and like just bullshit. You know what I mean? So like. I feel like that's flipped on its head because a social populist just won, and he's just like, "Hey guys, for the social good, can we keep the rainforest? Like, please, I think that's a good idea."
Yeah,
and that
the lung of the world or whatever they call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you know that like most of the world's oxygen actually comes from microbes?
Oh, cool.
So
I didn't know that.
The oxygen explosion
from plankton. That makes sense.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's not just plankton, but protozoans like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're mostly right. Yeah, you're on the right track. So like when the oxygen explosion happened in the, I'm really bad at
when the what?
When the oxygen explosion happened.
Yes.
So like millions of years ago, like a population of protozoans that like. Work off of chlorophyll, single-celled chlorophyllic organisms, like were able to start creating oxygen. So at one point, like 60 to 80% of world's atmosphere was oxygen, right? Right now it's like, what, under 10%?
15. I thought it was 15.
Is it? I don't even remember.
Yeah, that's low as fuck.
I know most of Earth's atmosphere is nitrogen right now.
Yeah.
But then, like, so that's what, like, caused life to appear. You know what I mean? So that's why the dinosaurs were so big, because there was so much available oxygen and stuff like that. But then... Oh god, all this came from like me trying to talk about the stupid leg outside of the mansion.
Well, yeah.
Well, because I was trying to break down the
birds.
graphic birds. Oh my god.
Hey, no, it makes sense. I mean, god damn it, I feel like we're so close to this like super like fucked up like ecology that we're gonna create for ourselves.
You're right.
And the climate change and stuff like that. I feel like we're so close to that it gives anxiety just talking about like if. In the future, I have a house and I want to see birds. Am I gonna get the hologram birds at Costco that they sell? You know what I'm saying?
There was a book I read my last semester of college, and it made me super sad, but also kind of optimistic at the same time. It's called The Economics of Climate Change, and I thought it was just gonna be like how broke everybody's gonna be, how everything's gonna fucking suck. But no, it's actually like about people making money off of climate change and stuff like that, and like how economic pressures are gonna get people to acknowledge climate change existing, because it makes the argument at a certain point that like the entire coast of Louisiana, like all of southern Louisiana, will not exist in 30 years because like the sea rise is going to be so high. It's swampland, you know what I mean? So like the sea's quickly going to recede in there. So at a certain point, private home insurance firms,
Vegas is going to have beachside now.
Vegas. But like private insurance companies that insure your home will no longer be able to like afford to work in that area. At a certain point, how much can the government really afford to subsidize? Because like if you're a conservative congressman and you're like climate change doesn't fucking exist, but you represent southern Florida and like the hurricanes are stronger, sea rise level, the sea surge is stronger because the storms are so much stronger because of climate change. Like at what point, like, can you really make the argument in front of Congress being like, climate change doesn't exist, but I need more federal funding for home insurance in my area? But then like the other side's gonna be like, why? Just tell us why then. Admit it. We'll give you the money. We're the socialists, right? Like we'll help you. Tell us why. That's gonna be what's gonna happen.
It's insane. I heard a similar argument with with the whole like, oh, why do we keep sending money to Ukraine? Okay, so you want us to give free housing to the homeless? You want us to take care of our people first? You want us to give free healthcare to our veterans?
And like, I feel like there's like, if a Republican was president, like it would, like obviously they'd be for it, but that's not even the argument I'm making. There's a really obvious argument that conservatives would fucking eat up that's not being talked about because it's like a Democrat. Like,
give me. What is it?
It's that, like, the whole reason for the Iraq war and why the Afghanistani war went on for so long is because we have private defense contractors in the United States. Mm-hmm. All of the private defense industry in the world is in the United States. So when you read headlines that are like, 1.6 billion just got approved to Ukraine, yada, yada, yada. All of that isn't going in cash handouts to Ukraine. Yeah. That is going to American defense contractors to build $1.6 billion worth of industry, worth of jobs, worth of weapons, worth of planes, worth of missiles, worth of like air defense systems, grenades, guns, ammo. And then so that creates American jobs, supports our economy, and then we send those weapons to Ukraine. So like, that's why the Iraq war and the Afghanistan war went on for so long, because they were like, dude, what are we can't put our own contractors out of business. It's so mean. Because like a lot of like the biggest political donors in the United States are these defense contractors. They're the military contractors. They're these private contractors that are like, oh my, like if I was congressman for El Paso County, I'd be like, oh my God, Drew, what do you need? What do you need? I need jobs, dog. I need jobs. What do you want? We can make Fort Bliss buy $1.6 billion worth of weapons. Will that create jobs in your area? Probably. Run it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Because like it's very, like that's not the kind of policy. If I was like a national representative, I'd be for probably. But like if I was representing my area and I know the El Paso area needs those jobs, I'd be like, absolutely fucking.
That's the only way we can do it. Let's fucking go.
And honestly, that's a plot to fucking House of Cards in season 1.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Fuck! This movie's amazing. This is like the best movie I've seen all fucking year. I love this movie so much. So the plot, the House of Cards, is Frank Underwood is able to capture a young congressman. Because he's House Whip at the time for the Democrats. But he's able to get a conservative Democrat to vote for his bill because he's able to get defense contracts for his area because there's a fucking naval base in his district.
But holographic birds, get them on Costco.
Oh my God, we're still talking about the holographic birds.
Get them on Costco, $20.77. They're on sale.
So Frank Underwood's a bad person, right? I think.
And also Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey. He got away with it.
Yeah,
he got away with it.
Yeah, after so many times.
Like like Kevin Spacey's like the one example of somebody trying to like gaslight gaslighters that were committing fucking cancel culture. Because like he tried getting canceled for harassing his younger co-stars, like sexually assaulting them on set or like dressing rooms, whatever. Yeah. And then like people tried to cancel him and tried to like keep him accountable for his actions. Yeah. And he was like, whoa, y'all acting really homophobic right now.
Dude, for real.
Whoa.
Ow, I just like penis. I like penis. I don't know why that's a problem here.
If that's a problem, then cancel me.
Yeah. No, that's fucking wild. Yeah, Kevin Spacey. I just saw Horrible Bosses earlier. No, yesterday.
Oh, wow, I forgot he was in that. I haven't seen Horrible Bosses in forever.
He's on both of them.
No, I didn't realize he was in the second. And I've seen the second one. I don't even remember why. God, it absolutely. What are we talking about? So we're in this movie. So there's the birds. There's the holographic birds that we have yet to get past, right? So there's a few examples in the house of that, different holograms, like I think there was maybe fish tanks. I might be making that up, but it's other stuff like that, right? And then Tokasa like calls them like, oh my God, Bota up here, and they find what they think is like a fried mannequin in a chair, like it's hooked up to like land wires and stuff like that. And Bota's just like, poor.
That must be Mr. Kim.
That must be Mr. Kim. Poor fucker. Looks like he fried himself trying to hack into a net or something like that. So then Bota just kind of like flips the chair with like this fried mannequin in it, and the mannequin just starts laughing, like this creepy, maniacal doll laugh kind of thing. Yeah. So then there's a cut right there. There is a cut, and that cut's important. So then immediately after that cut, they stand him up and they're having a conversation with him. That's where Bota does some exposition. Like the first exposition I've heard, like the whole fucking anime, maybe the whole movie. It's Bota talking to Tokusa, talking to the audience, essentially being like, this is Kim. He used to be ex-military, but now he kind of works as like a network specialist, and he was trying to play a prank on us. So he's going to hear us out. Just don't even worry about it. So then like Kim gets his little android, little Chinese looking doll thing to like serve them tea, and Tokusa's like walking around the room. It got super, super heady and like introspective-y for like 20 minutes, and like the anime tries lulling you out of that for a while. Like they stop all the hymn chanting, they stop all the chimes, and it's just back to buddy cop film that we thought it was in the first 45 minutes, right? So he's walking around the room, he's looking at the bookshelf, he finds a secret passageway in the bookshelf, but it's out in the open, right? Like in the middle of Bota and Kim having a conversation. But then it's a model of the mansion that they're in. And then he looks inside of the mansion and sees somebody that looks exactly like him and Bota running inside of the mansion. So then the scene starts over again. And they're back at the machine leg in front of the reflective lake. And they're having that same conversation again. So then at that point, Bota runs back into the mansion. But
I feel very vulnerable in this scene, dude.
Like, what's his name? Oshii?
Yeah.
I feel like he had his way with me there for like 15 minutes. That shit.
Yeah, it
shouldn't
personal.
feel nice.
Yeah.
It didn't feel nice.
Dude.
He didn't nurture us or anything after. Like,
no, exactly. It was just like, you just got mind fucked.
You just got mind fucked. There you go. So that scene happens like 5 times. But the most significant portion of the differences in the dream sequences, like it's a loop. It happens like 3 times, right? Because that's the joke. Like bad things happen in like acts of 3.
Yeah.
But that initial like doll when they first walk into the mansion, where it has the Amoth letters in front of it. This time it just says moth.
Yeah.
So then like it goes again,
and
but
one of them means all true, and then or all like sincerity or some shit like that.
Well, it's Hebrew.
Yeah.
It comes from Jewish folklore. Amoth means the truth of God, God's truth, the real truth, right? That's essentially what it means. And then, but there's a story in Jewish folklore that a man wrote Amoth on a golem that he made, which is like a clay doll, essentially. He wrote Amoth on a clay doll, and it turned real. Again, like everything we've been talking about, like what's real, what's life, like
Pinocchio,
the Frankenstein thing. Like, is Frankenstein's monster now like real? Is it? Yeah, is Pinocchio real? Is Pinocchio the real boy or not?
Yeah.
And then, but like in Hebrew, Amoth means truth, but moth without the first AE.
It's like
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It means death.
Death. Okay.
Death. So that was the major plugged into the matrix, plugged into the net. Essentially, that's like the angel on his shoulder, essentially telling him like Amoth means truth and moth means death. Like there's no truth to be found here.
Yeah.
Like this isn't real. So even the very first interaction with Kim was all fake. They had already fallen into his trap. So once they realize that, then they actually kick the real Kim's ass, and like he spills the beans, and he's like, Locus Solus or is actually that ship on the other side of the harbor, and that's where they're creating those dolls.
I feel like that has to be one of my favorite like terror tropes of like instant like bear trapped into like this unknown world or like this simulation world, because we also see that in Madoka Magica as well, like with the witches. Like the witches will put you in this trance.
Oh, I get what you mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in the drop of a dime, like it would happen. Like I feel like that's one of my favorite like horror tropes now.
It's like that one Sharingan power where like you can just trap somebody in an alternate reality.
Yeah.
But once you realize it, you've already been in that. You've already been in that Sharingan power for a while. So like it's a. God, maybe we should watch Naruto. That's a Genjutsu.
Yeah, Genjutsu. Damn it.
I might have to watch Naruto.
Hey, we can bring Rachel into it.
Yeah, that's true. So then the actual plot's gonna start moving forward now. So like that whole sequence, like the three-peat cycle of them running through that sequence of like the fake Kim, the fake mansion, and like being trapped in their own memories. Like again, they use the little the little thermometer looking gun to just plug into Kim's doll and just take control of him and like turn off the virus. Mm-hmm. So essentially from there on out, like they're going to separate the buddy cop dynamic, and now Tokusa is going to be on land, plugged into the Matrix with Kim's doll, because Kim's doll has like firmware that's directly tied to like the security network for Locus Solus. And then Bato, I got a dog hair in my mouth. And then Bato is going to like go underground to the ship to try to break into where the dolls are being manufactured. Mm-hmm. And like immediately, like again, it's AIs running the ship. That's what we see the second we get there. It looks like the scene from Darling in the Franxx, where there's like, I forget what they're called. They're called the apes or something like that.
Apes? Oh.
Right, the guys in the white suits with like the ape masks that are making all the actual decisions for the colonies. Yes. It reminds me of that scene. So it's like 3 different AIs in a circle, like being like, oh my god, somebody invaded the ship, turn all the dolls into weapon grade malfunctions. This movie is PG-13. These dolls start slicing off people's faces. So the actual like a virus invades the network on the ship, turns all the dolls into like weapons, like iRobot.
They were kicking people's faces off.
Right. So then the actual like human security on the ship tries fighting the Genshin dolls, the little sex dolls, but they are slicing their faces off. Like they are like slicing skulls in half, and like these guys are screaming. It's gory. This movie is PG-13 in 2004 for whatever reason, but the first Ghost in the Shell movie is rated R because it shows nipples.
Tits, yeah.
Beats me. I don't know. I think this movie, like, if the first movie, if you showed it to a child, it would get them asking about tits or thinking about tits, right? Mm-hmm. This movie would give your child nightmares.
I think so.
I don't understand how this movie is seen as age appropriate.
I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's a wild movie. I guess I wouldn't. I don't know. Even of a PG-13, even if I was like a teen, I feel like I wouldn't have an interest to watch this movie because my brain's not developed enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, I want to see tits. I want to see Ghost in the Shell 1 again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's, oh god, it's so there's a lot of gore, and then because because Bato's guardian angel, the Major inside of the net, is always looking after him, the Major pops up. She overtakes one of the dolls. She steals one of his guns. So now it's like the Major and Bato again, except it's like another buddy cop film, except we got the different cop this time. It's a different buddy.
Is that you, Major? It's like, yep.
And it's a little sex doll.
Yeah,
it's me and this little sex doll body. Mm-hmm. But she says something like,
only a part of her, actually.
Right. She says something to the effect of like, my whole consciousness can't fit into here. I am somewhere in the net, far away. Like there's so much of my ghost or whatever. So that's why like I'm only controlling limited functions in this limited doll right now. Mm-hmm. Which is more fucked up because like the whole reason Section 9's involved in this investigation is because they kind of assume that with how good the dolls are and that they have enough free will to kill people, that these might actually be ghosts in the dolls. Like these aren't just AIs or like little virtual intelligence. This isn't a VI. Like it might be an actual person inside of that doll. Because the very first scene when Bato shot that original doll that had killed 3 people in the neck, it like screamed and was like, I want to die. Please kill me. Like this hurts. I want to get out of here, which is not something that a doll should be saying, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Ghost in the Shell has grown so much into you, dude. It's crazy.
What do you mean?
I just remember bringing Ghost in the Shell in because of the Matrix.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and I was like, I really like this movie. Let's fucking watch it.
Yeah.
And then, because we knew about Scarlett Johansson's Hollywood movie, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like now, I hear you talk about Ghost in the Shell 2, and every single time you hear somebody be like, Ghost in the Shell, yes, I've seen it. Both of them.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's
good.
It's like good. It's turned into like one of those highbrow anime things.
Yeah,
you didn't watch Innocence?
Exactly.
You're not a real anime fan.
Exactly.
Fake ass anime fan. You haven't seen Innocence? Fake Fuck it, that's the coldest take. Like if somebody would ever come up to me and be like, "Yeah, Innocence was mid," you're mid. That's how you probably like Naruto. You fucking dog shit. Yeah. So the major just kind of like just takes the mission by the balls from there on out because she's a super high powered.
And now,
ghost.
it turns into a heist movie now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, it's almost like the one scene in Predator with Donald Glover and Arnold Schwarzenegger with a, hey, motherfucker.
Just forearms.
Yeah, just forearms.
Hey.
Yeah, on frame. And they're like, don't you want to see what this whole thing is about? Because I'm not all here, but my consciousness wants to learn about, like, what the fuck's going on here, too.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, let's fucking go. And there's this piece of animation where, obviously, like, Bato is, like, the muscle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She walks in. She's pulling the server
Yep.
out of like the building.
She breaks the doll's arm.
Yeah, she's like, fuck. It's like this stupid fucking doll. Like, is not strong enough.
Yeah.
Like to get, and you see like, psh, 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 like all the pistons.
The animation's great.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It looks so good.
Crazy.
Like imagine Akira with like slight CGI.
And then Bato being like, hey, boss, if you go in there, I only got like half a clip.
Yeah.
And if I have to fight these dolls, I don't know what to tell you.
And she's like, just hold them off. I'm gonna invade the network.
Yeah.
So she invades the network, finds all the plans, and like at the very exact moment, he's like, there's like dolls climbing on him, and he's trying to like beat them with the butt of his gun. Like she takes them over at that exact moment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then they fall over. But like, dude, it's like all sci-fi juicy shit, dude. All of the spies you can
The second
find.
act's insane, but then it's just like buddy cop movie, crazy ass second act, I guess, and then like back to sci-fi like bullshit
all the way.
Yeah,
Because
like
they
the
throw
third
like
act.
crazy like fictional science into it.
Oh yeah,
It's wild.
It's like, and that's only like the last 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Like if we're
yeah.
trying to break it up into acts, which I'm not sure like really fits into it, Act 3 would be like 15 minutes.
And because I came in here today and I was like, I only needed like a minute or two of the movie. And for some reason, I had to watch those 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It was not, it was so crazy at the end. I'm like, yeah, I think I have 10 minutes left. Oh, no, you only have 2 minutes left.
It's because that's the only time you have like firm plot.
Yes.
So that's why the last 2 minutes are like so significant.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like I dismissed it all because I was looking for the plot.
There's no
Throughout the fucking movie, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's about the souls and what's human and we're not.
Karen made fun of me because I wanted to waste I don't think it's a waste. She said it was a waste. I wanted to spend $120 to go see the projections, like the 3D projections of Van Gogh.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But they're like $50 tickets after bullshit fees or whatever.
Have you been to a laser show?
No.
Like a Pink Floyd laser show?
No,
those
that's
are
what I'm
super
saying. That's
dope,
what, and like Karen be like, you want to go see paintings? I'm like, yeah, I would pay $50 each. I'll pay for your ticket too for us to go see 3D holographic Van Gogh paintings. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's dumb. That's a waste of money. So we didn't go. But like,
I think they have a planetarium like past Carlsbad.
Do they?
They have a planetarium, and I think they do laser shows every once in a while for the Pink Floyd thing.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
That would be pretty
super cool. Been there twice.
I still want to see Van Gogh though. I think I still have 2 more weeks to go see
I seen Van Gogh in person
Like actual
at the
paintings?
MoMA.
At the where?
At the MoMA,
What's the MoMA?
Museum of Modern Arts in New York.
Oh!
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was Van Gogh in New York.
Well, they have pieces. They move them around.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, I saw the Starry Nights from here to where you were.
That's super crazy. I'm super jealous.
Yeah,
Wow, that's like upsetting. What did it look like in person?
It is as good as you see it on your phone, dude.
What did he use paint? Is it watercolors? Is it
like,
acrylic paint?
Yeah, it's acrylic where it stands almost out, kinda.
Okay, so it's like it's got a texture to it. It's like 3D.
Almost, yeah, but not so thick as acrylic though.
Huh. That's really interesting.
It's weird.
Because I did take art appreciation. I got a C as an undergrad.
Hey, C's?
It's because I kept forgetting to I kept forgetting to take the quizzes. So I missed like half of the quizzes. So like I got like a C. I like barely passed. I almost failed fucking art appreciation.
Someday I'll show you the picture I took that day.
I want to see it.
Yeah, MoMA is
I would
cool.
love to see shit like that in person because like what I learned in art appreciation is it's not about the art. You know what I mean? Like a lot of art installations, especially like modern art, is like just stupid shit. That's like a toilet in the street or something, right?
The MoMA like will have like they'll save their last floor for like like individual artists like exhibitions.
Right.
Like they'll have Banksy exhibitions. They'll have like something exhibition. That's cool when you catch one like that. It's really
and that's when people kind of don't like Basquiat. Because like the actual art seems really simple, but it's about the process. Like when you see like splash paintings and stuff like, oh, my fucking 1-year-old can make that. But it's like, what was the process that was made? Like that fucker was hanging 12 feet upside down,
probably
and
had
like
a gun to his head.
Probably had a gun to his head. He was on a bushel of mushrooms, and like it's about the process more than like the actual product. A lot of the time with modern art,
it's not about the strokes that he put on it. It's about the strokes that he didn't put on the thing.
That's right, though.
Yeah,
that's right, though.
Absolutely.
So when you see like pieces that are just like, what's the one like?
What am I missing here?
I just saw Knives Out, Glass Onion, and they have like this really famous like it's like a fake copy of the painting, but like there's this really famous like painting of like it's just like a red square and a blue square on top of each other, but in the movie the big fake is that the rich guy's actually an idiot. So like he's like, oh yeah, look at all my art, I have the Mona Lisa, I have that block painting thing, but it's upside down, because he doesn't know like what art's actually like.
There's a famous quote out there too about a pianist, because I can't remember the pianist, I can't remember the song, but he plays a song at a party. And somebody asked him, hey, that's genius. What does it mean? He plays it again. And then that's his explanation for it. You know what I'm saying? There's no explanation for it. It's like, it is what it is.
Hey, so in your lie in April.
You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, this conversation could go on forever. I'm serious. Like, this movie really just touches, like, every facet of my brain so hard. Like, it's just, like, it's so good. So, anyways, the big resolution in the movie that the Major basically found out when she plugged into the network was that the dolls were so popular and so lifelike because it's actual child consciousnesses being uploaded into these dolls. The act of creating these dual ghosts was banned because it always kills the host. So that means that Locus Solus was killing trafficked children to import their consciousnesses into sex dolls.
Which is even worse than just...
I don't even need a philosophical argument for that one. Like, as soon as I heard that, I was like... like, this movie's sad. Like, it was a tragedy the whole time, wasn't it?
And then the scene of Batu, because it's like a little just one-shot thing of Batu just getting a girl out of there.
Yeah.
It just feels...
The animation's real good, but then Bato has a philosophical argument with the child, because he pulls her out and she's like, oh my god, that guy that worked for the Yakuza that they killed and totally murdered, he told us he was going to find us because he was going to upload a false rule in the consciousness that let the dolls murder people, and once there was enough murders, then the police would start investigating and they'd rescue the girls that were on this ship. So the guy that was murdered by the Yakuza in the first act actually was the one that gave them the false rules that let them murder people. So like several people died were planned to be killed just to get the police's attention to rescue the girls from this ship. Crazy. So then he's yelling at this child. She's like, oh my god, I'm so glad you rescued me. Dr. So-and-so said this would happen once a few people died. He's like, you fucking idiot. Do you know how many people died for me just to find you here? Like, that's ridiculous. And she's like, I just didn't want to die, mister. I didn't want to die, mister. I'm a child. I'm a fucking child, bro. He's like, what's your problem? A full cyborg just shaking you?
And then Major is like... I am having an epiphany right now, and this is what I do, the things that I do, because I've been trying to look within.
I'm the angel on your shoulder, and I'm glad I helped.
Peace out. And then the robot just like...
Yeah, goes back into the network. She goes back to the network, so the robot just like dies.
Out. Yeah.
Crazy
movie. I'm glad I have these conversations, because other than that, I would have flown all over my...
Honestly, I've thought about that before. Like, that's why, like... I made that Druname anime channel, but it would have to be something completely different because I could never do like a full-on anime discussion or like podcasting thing by myself because like I need to talk about it. Like I can't. Like imagine you tried to talk about this movie by yourself. It'd be like
that
this,
would have been bad.
this, and this.
I always come here with a pre-plan.
Yeah.
Of like how the conversation might go. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, it's like this. We're talking about this. We can talk about this. We can talk about that. We can talk about this. And then like when I came in here and you were like on it, I'm like, holy shit!
I did research. I pulled up quotes.
I fucked up.
but imagine you tried to have that conversation by yourself. This podcast would be different. This whole episode would be completely different if you had tried to have like this conversation by yourself.
And that's why we want you to comment and give us your feelings, your explanations, your feedback on our episodes and also the anime that we watch.
Absolutely.
We have a suggestion coming out, which will be probably the next episode after you watch this.
Yeah, Hitori no Bochi or whatever it's called.
And this is how soon we'll watch the recommendations. If we have something planned, obviously, Feelings February, it's all booked. March Madness is all booked. But after that, it's game on with recommendations.
Yep. And we'll keep them on the back burner, too. Like, honestly, what Alder's talking about, if March and April are booked, I mean, if February and March are booked, if y'all have enough recommendations, April till the end of the year, fuck it. All recommendations. I don't care. I don't care. We'll watch anything.
Also, Ghost in the Shell 2.
10 out of 10. For real. This is my favorite movie in, like, forever. Like, since, like, Dune 2020.
It's really good. It's really good. I honestly missed like the entire plot because there was no plot. Only at the end of the movie was a plot, and I feel like that's where my brain was fixated at the end.
Well, the very last scene is like reaffirming that the good guy cop that
Togusa has a real family.
That Togusa has a real family. Because what we didn't discuss, like when he's when like they're having that loop, and is that at a certain point he woke up out of the loop. He's just like, am I real? Or my memory's real? Is my wife real? Is my kid real? Which was also the plot to the first Ghost in the Shell. But then, like, if you've ever seen somebody in real life that's, like, in the middle of a blackout, like, it doesn't even matter what the substance is. But, it like, that happened to me I would see people like that in college and have to take care of that kind of person. They're in a loop, you know what I mean? Their memory cycles 10 minutes, you know what I mean? So you end up having the same conversation every 10 minutes for an entire night.
I love you, dude. Have I told you how much I love you?
Yeah, whatever, dude. A whole 10-minute conversation happens, 10 minutes of silence. Hey, I love you, dude. I haven't told you that in a while, have you? Yeah, I'll do whatever. 20 minutes stop, 10 minutes later. Yeah, you know what I mean? So then, like, it reminded me of that a little bit. Like, when they're going through that Kim dream sequence for a little bit.
And that's where, again, even though I was maybe passively watching this movie, which I shouldn't have not, this is where I felt the most vulnerable from, like, the storytelling, because I'm not a fucking guy to tell you that, oh, we live in a simulation, oh, blah, 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 blah. No, this is real life. Everything sucks.
Yeah.
This is why this shit is like this.
It's okay for reality.
Exactly, you know? So, I wasn't thinking about it like that, but, like, I in a way, I'm like, I hope my baby is real. I hope, like, all the experiences I have had with
I'll let you borrow Nier Automata. Don't worry about it.
My son is real. You know what I'm saying? Once I get a PS5, I will.
Watch. You'll appreciate more. You'll appreciate more of this movie after you play this game. On God.
But episode 126. If
we did our math right. If it's 127, we're sorry.
Yeah, you probably already watched Ponjo with Alex, and you probably already watched Bocchi the Rock, which is good.
Yeah. Like, we haven't even recorded Bocchi the Rock right now, and that's how far back we are in the timeline. Because it's December 29th.
Do you want to cut here and maybe have a nerd down?
I don't think we can have a nerd down because it would be 3 weeks old. So I say...
But we can have a nerd down for Bocchi the Rock.
Yes.
Like, I will put this in Bocchi the Rock's nerd down.
Okay.
But let's cut, and then we might or might not. I have to...
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Great episode. Great episode.
No nerd down. No nerd down, but you already knew that because that means that this nerd down discussion will be on the Bocchi the Rock episode, which was 2-3 weeks ago.
Yes. So
time is cyclical. The reality is fake.
Yeah.
Think for yourselves. Don't let anybody else think for you unless you've had 3 concussions in the past 4 months.
Yes. In that case, and there's like multi-million-dollar contract ahead of you.
Right. If they're like, hey, Tua, You've had 3 concussions, but we'll give you $50 million if you play out the rest of the
That's
season.
one of our prerequisites for this contract.
3 concussions.
Yeah.
Anyways, my name is Drew Philippelias. That's
I'm
Aldo
Aldo
Mendez.
This has been
Between
Birds.
Nerds.